welcome to Ask Win, everyone. And before I bring my guest in, um, my guest Robin and I were talking about this before we hit record, and I just want to say to my listeners out in California, I know you guys listen. I see it on my podcasting host map, Lipson, Lybsyn, for those of you who want to get into the nitty gritty on that one. But I also want to have you have a clear understanding that we are thinking of you as you go through wildfires. I actually am going through a wildfire myself. Uh, 30 minutes away from my house. So, yes. And Robin is actually sitting in California right now. She's not impacted by the wildfire, but the air quality, I've been told, out there is bad. And it's bad in Colorado, too. It was today, it's not as bad, but it has been bad. And so I just want to make it clear that I'm watching you guys. I'm making sure that you guys are okay. And you guys are welcome to reach out to me. And I'll try and help you to the best of my abilities. So I would like to welcome Miss Vaughn. And Vaughn, could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Robin Owens. And when I'm not teaching at a local university here in Los Angeles, California, I'm teaching anyone who's willing to listen, more or less, how to find their purpose and how to use it right where they are. In whatever position they are in, they could use their purpose right there. And so that's one of the greatest joys of my life to do is to help people find their purpose, but not only find it, but to use it in their daily life. So they have meaning, passion, and fulfillment. So that's what I do, Win.
Well, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. And I don't know where you were when I was at a crossroads in my own life. I was watching my father die on. I watched my mother die. I went um, back into the education sector. Then I watched my father die and got out of the education sector and went dive bombed into full fledged journalism, and I loved it ever since. No, I
Mm,
had the opposite. COVID actually made me quit my job. I got laid
mm,
off, and I had this podcast to fall back on, and I am now a full fledged journalist and getting my journalism degree. So there's a passion story. I did not like education. I did not like it day in day out. I did not like it, and so I decided to leave, and I decided to either way I was going to retire in May, but my life in took a May of 2019 took a turn upside down, and
mm,
then I was going to retire in May of 2020. Well, by the time I got home from, well, I wasn't even home in the state of Colorado. I was in the middle of Chicago O'Hare International Airport, flying back from Orlando and flying back from Orlando, Florida, whereupon I just did a cultural immersion trip for my podcast. And
mm,
I don't know what came over me. something said, "You're coming home to COVID-19 chaos, and you're coming home to without a job." And so I said, "Fine." I just sat as I was waiting for a plane with my aide to get back to Colorado. I started planning in my head. School is going to be my full time job, and this podcast is also going to be my full time job.
Mm, mm. Well, it sounds like you've had quite a bit of challenge, and I'm sorry to hear about the losses. Uh, and it seems to me when you have that extreme challenge, it pushes you to the next level of your life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And next week, my fan base is going to find out about another huge something that I am going to announce. And people know that I am, um, people knew this was coming, but they didn't know how. And I'm finally ready to announce something that I've been working on for about a good year, and it had nothing to do with my journalism degree. So, Robin, what is the best advice for someone who is listening to this podcast and they feel stuck?
Yeah, that's a good question, Win. And this is what I teach, and I've learned from my own life and the lives of many others. If we have a moment, especially some of us do have a moment now that we are in quarantine at some level or another, it's a time of self-reflection. And so I encourage people to think about three things. Take some time to think about, again, today in 2020, what are some things I absolutely love, right? And make a list of those. Just try to think about your life growing up and just kind of make a brainstorm list of things you love. That's number one. Number two, make a list of those things that are really important to you. Those are your values, those things that are really, really important to you. Just the things that come to the top of your head. You'd be surprised what will come out from that. All right, so now you have a list of your passions, those things you love, and you have a list of your values, those things that really matter to you. Now, think about the things that you're good at. They come naturally for you to do. You know, things that your friends are often compliment you on, and you think, oh, that's no big deal. Those I call your natural abilities. Some people call them your gifts or your strengths or your zone of genius. I call them your natural abilities, things that come naturally to you, things you're good at. So now you're going to take those three things, your passions, your values, and your natural abilities. And now take some aspect of each of them, because you can't do them all. Take one piece of each of them and think about how can I help someone using those? Who can I serve? And so the formula that I teach is when you use your passions, your values, and your natural abilities in service to someone or something else, now you're in your purpose. It will move you from this area of being stuck back into life and life that is fulfilling.
Yeah, yeah. And my stepmom said to me yesterday, she goes, "How was your day?" Other than busy, because said, um, I said, "From the time you left me to the time I literally went to bed, my phone didn't stop." And I said it was relaxing because I'm in a position that I love. I'm in a work position that I love.
Mm,
I love being a
mm,
journalist, and I don't care about the paycheck. I care about
mm,
nurses, and
mm.
absolutely love being a journalist. And so, Robin, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book, you know, it's always hard to say, so I'll say my favorite book of the moment.
Yeah.
Not of a lifetime because it changes over time, right? So my favorite book of the moment is called The Big Leap. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks.
Leap. I now have to get what after I've decided, you guys, after I get done with this textbook books and I have to stick I don't have to stick my head in a textbook anymore, you guys. I'm going to take all these books that I've been recommended over the years and start reading them. Because right now, right now I'm stuck. I don't think I'm keeping these books in my back pocket. Don't think I asked these questions to you guys publicly because I read books. I just read book on audio tape. I just read books on my phone because I can't physically hold a book due to my cerebral palsy, due to my neurological disability. It's hard for me to hold a book. But don't think, you guys, that I'm asking you just as a podcast question, what is your favorite book? And don't think, you guys, that I'm not going to read your favorite books eventually because um, I'm asking you this so when I have time to read books, I now I now have over 100 books to read thanks to you guys.
You got a lot of reading to do.
Yeah, I've got a lot of um reading to do, and I just yeah, I don't think, you guys, I just asked that question just out of curiosity. I plan to um pick some of your favorites and read them myself. And so, Robin, if your BFF had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
It's all about purpose.
It's all about purpose. I like it. I like it. Well, women on a mission. Women on a mission to give
Yes.
to others. And so I like that one. And so if you had to move and only take 5 things with you, what would they be?
Okay, if I had to move and I can only take 5 things, one would be I would take a video of the home, of everything in the home. Just one video and go through each room and just kind of around the things because in my home is filled with all these things that I love. So then now I would have captured that memory in the video. So I'd make the video and I would take a picture near the doorway of my mother who passed away years ago. And it's a picture of when she was young, and I hadn't known her then because I wasn't born. And so I keep that picture right near the door. I would take that. And the third thing I would take is kind of practical. I guess I take my car keys so I can get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll take my phone because that will give me access to everything that I need. Um, and the fifth thing I would take is, let me think about this one. Yeah, I probably would take my computer so it would allow me to then continue to make a living.
Yeah, well, good. You have to make a living somehow
Yes.
and take the um take the family memories as well. And Robin, what is your morning routine?
I like to have some quiet time in the morning. So I always allow myself, at, at least if I could, like if I don't have to be out at a certain time, I'd like to give myself 2 hours quiet. And in that quiet time, I have some time where I'm just sort of reflecting and daydreaming, let my mind wander. And then after I do that for a while, I do have some time of meditation. I listen to 15-minute music and meditation to quiet my mind now that it's wandered. Spend some time in prayer, setting my intentions for the day, and then I spend some time doing some yoga stretching, some light kind of yoga stretching. And then once I do that, I have just silence, just because it nurtures me for some reason before I get up and start working. So that's my morning routine.
And Robin, we we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I would ask you, what excites you most about this work you're doing?
Just being a positive voice um, in the um, being a voice that people could rely on, and being a voice for those who may not have a voice, and for especially those who have disabilities, and those who come from different ethnic backgrounds or different walks of life and don't know what the next step is going to be. I mean, to give you a hypothetical example, teacher, um, if a teacher is going back into school and into school in person, and they need to put my podcast on to psych themselves up to go
Mm,
in to the classroom to put their mask on. Do it
mm,
because um, we need you in the classroom to teach the kids about
mm,
disabilities, and we especially need right now those um, those teachers who want to devote themselves to special ed. So
mm,
what excites me the most is what I I like to think of myself as a little piece of quiet, as a little piece of not necessarily chaos because I don't bring up the woods, and but a little piece to step away from the chaos of the world pandemic, and a little piece to step away from what's going on Mother Nature wise and in this country. And so I think this this world needs just a little bit of hope. So that excites me enough that I'm doing my part every single day
mm,
to bring people hope and
mm,
bring people just a little inspiration and um, just a little peace and quiet to tell them that yes, everything is going to be okay. Yes, everything is going to turn around, even though I got some intel this morning. But as long as you have your mask and your headphones to listen to someone else's voice in your ears, you can put one foot in front of the other.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds like you're really passionate about the work you're doing. It's really important work, so I'm
Well,
glad you're doing it.
yeah. And so, Robin, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you?
Okay, people can find me at my on my website, robinlowens.com, robinlowens.com, and my favorite social media site is LinkedIn, Robin L. Owens, PhD at LinkedIn.
so people can find you on LinkedIn or
Yes,
via your website. And
yes.
Robin, what is your closing piece of advice to everyone who's listening?
My closing piece of advice will be no surprise to everyone who's been listening so far. Find your purpose and use it every
Exactly.
day.
Find your purpose and use it.
Yes,
And I I don't know if the schools are back in LA yet, back in person. I know that some of the schools are going totally online, but I applaud every single teacher. And yes, you, those who teach, who know me personally, you know who you are. And so I applaud you guys, and those who don't know me personally but still teach. I applaud you guys for going and sacrificing your lives and making a huge turnaround and still trying to impact these kids.
yes.
And Robin, I don't know, are you online completely? Are you in
Y-
person?
Yeah, our university is online for the remainder of the year, to the end of the year. They decided rather than going back and forth and waiting to see what would be worked out legally, they would just have it consistent that we'll be online
Okay,
until January. Yeah,
so there we go. She's online. She's safe, but
yeah,
at the same time, online brings its challenges as well. So I applaud you teachers out there. Don't think I'm not watching you guys. I applaud you teachers out there who are doing it online. I applaud the teachers who are especially doing it in person. I applaud the parents who have now become homeschool teachers. And you guys, we got this. And just be safe and be strong. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'll catch you guys next week. And I appreciate the support. And I definitely appreciate the love and support. And you guys know where to find me. And so I'll catch you guys next week. Bye, you guys.
bye everybody.